Hey, what's up internet? Stan here from Noir. We're carrying on with my little series here about the games that I've made using Game Maker. I've lost count now. I think we're up to part 10, I think this will be. This is going to be the final one for Lunk's Great Adventure. As I said at the end of the last video, I did take a little bit of a break during the making of this particular game. I went off and did some other tutorials, and I also started work on some of my own games and one thing and another. So it was actually about a year's time from the end of the last video right up to now. But I thought it was only right that I went back and finished off the series anyway, just because it needed to be done, and I'd really grown fond of Lunk as well. So before we get into the episode, big shout out to all the new subscribers. The numbers keep going up, so I'm happy as Larry with that. I recently got an invite to do a game jam with one of my viewers. He private messaged me, so I won't say who it was, but thank you very much. It was really appreciated. I think I've got a long way to go before I'm going to be able to do that, and I've got an awful lot of stuff going on in my schedule with working full time and making these videos as well. But it will happen, I promise you. I wasn't shining you on. It will happen. I will try and sort that out and get that in. We'll do that, and then hopefully one day one of these videos that goes up will be a video of the game that we make during some sort of game jam. Whichever one it may be, whether it be Ludum Dare or something like that, or some other one. So yeah, hopefully that should be a lot of fun, particularly since he's in America, so that's gonna make sorting that out really interesting. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So like I said, big shout out to everyone who's new to the series. Thank you very much for joining, and on with the episode. After taking some time away from Lunk to do some other tutorials, artwork and a few other bits, I returned to Benjamin's YouTube series to find he'd done another 10 more lessons or so. At the time of making this video, the series has not been updated for quite some time, and what with Heartbeast's Kickstarter project still being finished off, it would appear to be the end for Lunks Journey. Still, there was code to write and features to add, so this particular chapter had not finished just yet. Ben provided a couple of sprites for a sign, and we created objects for the sign itself, a speech bubble, and some code to write the text. This was quite a bit more complicated than you might think, and I'm very certain I would not be able to do it on my own. We're not without a lot of checking for examples anyway. We then also added a little bit of code that would be activated by hitting the sign. This at least I did understand. Once this was done, we now had a sign that could be activated and would make a cool little text box. Although Lunk did kind of break the immersion by being able to walk between the text bubble and the text itself. The next tutorial was all about refining the text system. We made a speaker object inherit from the wall object so that you couldn't just walk straight through the sign. We then transferred the code to activate the sign from the damage object into the dash state script. This meant that if Lunk was in the open when the dash key was pressed, he would dash as normal. However, if you were next to the sign, it would activate. We also wrote some more code so that Game Maker would preemptively count the length of each word before writing it. If it wouldn't fit on the line it was on, it would automatically start on the next line. It's little bits of polish like this that make a game feel more professional. You don't notice them when they're there, but when they're not there, it can be really badly jarring. I think we can all agree it looks a lot better now that the sign isn't activated by Lunk bashing it with his sword, and now that the text automatically bounces down onto the next level. Oh, and now Lunk doesn't walk through the writing. Next up, we had a crucial part of the game, a pause menu. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but again, a really important part of every game. It's where you get all of the options, the save, the load function, and what you press when you need to go off for a smoke. As with every screen in Game Maker, whether it's a level, an inside of a house, or the next area in an open world, the pause menu is just a room. We added an input object to get Game Maker to transition between the room we were in, the pause menu, an input key for Game Maker to check for, and a pause room with some text in it. We also set up an array, so that in the next section of videos, we'd be able to select what we wanted to do once we were in the pause room. There was also a bit of code added to dictate the speed at which you would scroll through the options on the menu. To make it clear what you were about to select on the menu, we used a really simple trick. We made the writing grey and the selection choice white. I mean, how simple is that? No moving boxes, no moving cursor bubbles, just a really obvious way of telling what you were about to select. I've lost count of how many options menus I've used in the past, both in games and in other media, where you can't tell what you're about to select because it's not clear at all. either because the colours that they use are too close together, or the background is so busy that you can't see the little cursor bubble as it moves around. And look at that, it's simple, it's obvious, it's clear. I mean, how hard is it? The next step was to add a basic statement to end the game when you selected the exit option, and then to set up a script for saving your progress. This script was really cool. It saves the room, stats, level, health, everything you would expect, but the really cool thing about this script is rather than save your data in plain text, it encrypts the saved data. This way, if some clever dick decides to find out where the saved data is stored on the local files, and go in and give themselves a million XP or money or strength, they just see a load of gibberish. Finally, for the pause menu, we wrote some code to decipher the data and then use it as the character's start state. A few playtests later, and it was all working perfectly. A true testament to Benjamin's ability as a coder and my ability to follow instructions step by step when I'm able to repeat sections that I got wrong the first time. Now onto some more gameplay elements. We did some tweaking to the sprite selection logic so that we will be able to add a little spice. And look, fireballs! Well, visible copies of damage objects that are being fired out as projectiles. They act exactly the same as when spawned by any other instance, except they're visible and being fired out at ridiculous speeds. This does kind of break the game a bit, but could be easily fixed with a few additions. To try and even the score a little bit, another enemy has been added that was faster than the poor little slimes and that could see an awful lot further away. As you can see, they're just as fast as Lunk. This means the dash state now has a purpose. Without it, once they're chasing you, you're pretty much guaranteed to take damage. Still, they can't clip through walls like Lunk can. And now on for the final push. We added some sound effects, all provided by Benjamin, some as part of this course and some others that I stole from doing other tutorials of his. I also decided to add some colour to the speech bubble and created a more interesting looking sprite for the projectile. Nothing fancy, just a little more interesting and exciting than a round black ball. We also replaced attack sprites for Lunk to allow us to interchange the weapons that we were using. This way we could start the game with a basic sword and then pick up a more powerful weapon as you progress through the game. And that is all for Heartbeast's RPG tutorial. 32 videos and a little over 10 hours worth of lessons, all for free. We'd gone from nothing to this, to this, to this, and then finally this. I honestly cannot recommend this series enough, and I found it indicative of the whole game maker scene. Search YouTube and you'll find hundreds of videos of tutorials made by different people covering so much of what this engine is capable of. When I was searching for Unreal tutorials, there seemed to be quite a few for beginners that would talk you through the interface and show you how to make something very basic, and then it was all just like, there you go, go off to college and come back when you know what you're doing. Where the tutorials would then just pick up again with like really advanced features. With Game Maker being looked down upon by people who use like Unity and CryEngine and Unreal, it's fostered a really great community of people that share their knowledge with the world, like just to be an advocate of this amazing engine. And I hope that one day I'll be one of them too. But I've got to get a little bit better I think first before that. I'll leave you with a quick clip of a talk from Rami Islam from Vlambeer. They made a career out of making games with Game Maker, and I think this just says it all.
To be honest, I'm just a guy, right? I make video games. I've got years of experience, and those are my experiences. They might not apply to you. You might not agree with them. You might have better ideas. If you have better ideas, please test them, and then when it turns out you were right, please send me an email and laugh at me and tell me why you were right, because that will help me learn as well. But don't define things for others. Don't ever do that. Don't define what a game is for others. Don't tell somebody that's not a video game. That's not up to you, it's up to them. Don't define gameplay for others. What is gameplay, what is not gameplay? Some people might argue that some of the games that Richard again showed before are not games. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Don't define good game or bad game. Tell people about why you think something is interesting or why it's not. Don't define good tools or bad tools. I make games in Game Maker. The amount of times I hear, but Game Maker can't make games. Hell, we have 4 games on Steam. Game Maker can make games. Anything can make games. Twine can make games. Game Maker can make games. Unity can make it. If you want to make a game in QBasic today, it will be quite impressive, but go for it.
Okay guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The next one we will be on to another game. Again, it's another game made by Benjamin, and this one was a paid course that I did through Udemy. So I hope you come back for that one. I'm not entirely sure when it'll get up. If it's not next Sunday, then it will be the following one after that. But yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. Soon I'll have some other videos up as well, sort of talking you through where we're going with the channel and what's happening in the future. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye bye guys.